Christopher, what's up? What's up, Rashonda? Peace, please. Peace, Tootsie. I'm on both channels, so I'm on Facebook and YouTube. I just want to rap with y'all. I want to have a good conversation. I want everybody to have an opportunity to get involved in this dialogue. I hope everyone is having a good day, so forgive me if I miss you guys. I'm smiling because I miss you guys. So both of these channels, they jumping quickly. So we already almost up to 100 on Facebook, near 50 on YouTube. That's dope. I miss y'all, man. Thank you, Serene. Peace to all of you guys, man. I cannot see the names fast enough, man. I can't see them. Tiffany, how you doing, sweetie? Michelle, peace. Denise, what's up with you? Raina, I miss you too. Mike's, what's up with you? Nice to see you, bro. Nice to see you too, man. Man, can y'all feel the love? I feel it. I feel it, family. So we're gonna have a conversation, man. This conversation won't be as much about, I can't get this smile off my face, y'all. I'm just so happy to be just in y'all presence again. I love the fact that I can, I guess, seem to be gone so long, man, and come back and y'all right here, man. I really appreciate y'all. I'll be thinking y'all gonna get tired of me here soon, but I appreciate y'all. But we're not gonna talk so much about T.I., the situation, but I believe that the topics have raised the conversation, right? So I just want to have some dialogue about how we approach standards for men and women going forward. How a parent should do for their child, their son or their daughter going forward, in a way to be fair, especially when you don't subscribe to a religion that tells you how to treat your children or how to treat each other. So, excuse me, I dropped my headphones that I don't even need right now, so I'm just going to get them out of the way. So I think I could trust you. I always trust you guys to be able to have a really strong, healthy conversation. And we're going to get into it. Chris Covington, man, you got an eye for it, bro. I thought I was being incognito for a minute. Thank you, Athena. True, John. I wouldn't argue with that one bit. It's one of those words we got to just train ourselves to get away from. I'm waiting on Callie, so if Callie hops on here shortly, I'll invite him on if I can. Sometimes you know how Facebook be acting, but we'll try to get Callie on here as well. Look, I normally try to give it a little bit of time to get up to 100, but man, we got there real quick, so I was trying to give it a little bit more time, but before I have you guys just sitting here looking at me, I guess we can just move on. But we're talking about T.I., man. I want to ask first off, thank you so much, Kathy. I want to ask you guys first off, how do you feel about that situation, about, T.I. and what he said? If you guys don't know, T.I., he said that he goes with his daughter to the gynecologist to have her hymen checked, to make sure that she's still a virgin, right? Or he asked the gynecologist about the hymen once he's checked his daughter, right? So how do you guys feel about that? I'll wait till I see some of your comments. Thank you, Lawrence, indeed. Serene says she feels that's overstepping boundaries and totally disrespectful to her. Okay. And that's solid. I can understand that. I mean, I don't know, like, I look at it like you always have to remember that your children are human beings, right? Just like we are. You guys know that if you go back not even 200 years, we didn't treat, or people, I say we like I was here, but people didn't treat children like children. We treated them like little people, so I think we have to get back to that. I'm not saying don't treat them like your children, but I'm saying get back to understanding that they are human beings. They're going to grow up just like and be just like you. And you shouldn't subject them to that because you can tarnish their brains. You know what I mean? Keep them from moving forward. So you got to think in a way that's fair. and try to be as fair as you possibly can in a way that helps everyone, that's safe for everyone. You have to value the privacy of another, right? You have to respect your child as well as you would your daughter, as well as you would your son, but be able to have healthy conversations. You know, so many times we think being a parent is invading territories and stuff like that, but you don't understand what that can do to a child's mind. And then they'll think it's okay, and then they'll redo that. I'm not saying, again, that's not to say allow your children to do whatever they want to do and don't check behind it, but I'm saying there's a way to go about it, family. And in our minds, it seems justified because we feel like we're doing what's right. We feel like we're protecting our children, but we're being overprotective. And we don't understand the mental problems that can come from parents being overprotective. You know what I mean? So it's deep. Give me a minute, guys. I just want to see here. This thing is not moving fast enough. And see, Danette says, I'll never embarrass my baby like that. And a lot of women, you guys, pretty much, it seems like most women say that, you know, that he shouldn't do that. And it's not about whether the man is wrong necessarily. Like I say, when you are subjected to this matrix, when you live in this reality, you're gonna think like you're gonna think with that mindset. You understand? So you have to understand that that's all he's doing. He's thinking with the mindset that is in line with the world that he lives in. We all accept the realities in which we're given, but the key is you got to be able to look outside of those realities and see them outside of your avatar, outside what benefits you, outside what benefits another person, but see it just totally free from any of that. And that way you can kind of be non-biased when you decide on what's right and what's wrong and how to treat each other. I'll give you an example here. Now, I guess I'll just stun you right off the bat. Here in America, traditionally we have between ages of 16 to 18 being the legal age to consent to sex, right? What does consent mean? Consent means to agree, right? But in order to consent by government, you have to be, number one, in your right mind. You have to be cognitively able, right? So you can't be mentally handicapped and considered able to consent, right? So you have to understand what you're getting yourself into. Number two, you have to be of age, right? Of the legal age. And that's just something that's man-made because it changes wherever you go, right? So if you're under that age or whatever is considered in your state, your geographical place that's cut out and called your state, then, you know, if you're under that age, then you cannot consent, right? Well, and then if you're intoxicated in any way, under the influence of any drug in any way, then you are, or substance, I should say, then you cannot consent. So this is what consent means, right? Okay, so the legal age of consent in America is 16 to 18. Well, I just did a video. I don't know if some of you guys saw it yet, but check that out. It's about TI, of course, but it's talking about the legal age of consent. And I tell them that in Colorado, it's 14, the legal age of consent. You just have to be within 4 years of that 14-year-old. In terms of 18 and under, can sleep with that 14-year-old if they consent, as long as they are not responsible for that 14-year-old, i.e., you know, babysitter, teacher, father. I mean, not father, of course, but babysitter, teacher, you know, preacher, pastor, anything like that, to where you can assert dominance over that person or you are in rulership over that person. Then no. Then of course it's not considered consenting at that moment. But and that's pretty bad, family. That's pretty bad. So you have to think like a person that you would be terrified of, that you wouldn't want anywhere near your children, for touching, say, a 15-year-old. If they were in Colorado and they were 18 or under, that wouldn't be a problem. It's all based on where you live. And this is why I say we got to see the world from outside of the reality that we're in. In the Philippines, the age for consent is 12 years old. So just imagine how many men we have locked up now. Not just men, but women too. It's pedophiles that come in all avatars, right? All shapes and sizes, all genders, right? So many pedophiles right now that's locked up, or people that we would consider pedophiles, right? We don't want them in our families anywhere near us, right? Because we fear them. They terrorize our children, right? Well, in the Philippines, they would be fine as long as that child was at least 12. That shows you that if you were to remove laws of man, just paper, just stuff that we socially agree on, the world would be chaotic. So don't base the maturity of your child. Don't base it on a number or age that's given to you by your government. We should all take the time to have a conversation with our children. Don't y'all agree? Regardless of where you are, regardless of what state you're in, whether it's 16, 18, or you're in Colorado where it's 14, or you're in the Philippines where you're 12, our children need to know and understand the risks, right? And all that stuff surrounding sex, and not hide it from them. Think about it, family. How many times have we allowed our children to watch a horror movie, right? Somebody getting shot up, somebody getting chopped up, body parts everywhere, monsters, whatever, everything. What's up, Callie? Hey, try to send me an invite or something like that. But monsters and everything in this movie, we let our children watch it. They play video games where they shoot each other up. As soon as someone kisses on TV, we're covering their eyes. We don't want them to see affectionate love. And it's like, why? Why would we let them see horror over romance? You see what I'm saying? When honestly, if we're lucky, they'll never witness that horror that they see on TV. But that romance will 100% one day be a part of their lives. And the longer you keep, I'm not saying expose it to them before their mind is ready. With my children, it's just like this. If you can come and ask me this with a straight face, without smiling, without laughing and giggling, like a little child, right? If you can ask me with a straight face, I'll answer you to the best of my ability. I'm not going to give you answers to questions you don't have yet. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to make you curious about something you're already curious about. But if you have a question, you can come and talk to your daddy at all times. I want them to know they can talk to me before they can talk to anyone. And that's my hope. I want first dibs, right? I want first dibs to have a conversation with my children, if that's possible. If it gets to a point where they can't trust me to do that, and while I'm acting out of my nature, they come to me and talk to me about something and I can't handle it, then I might, in fact, push them away from me and they don't feel comfortable talking to me anymore. So, hey, y'all, how do y'all do that so I can try to invite Callie on? Let me see. How do you do it, Callie? You be bringing people on? I'm on the computer, if that helps. I'm horrible with technology, y'all. LeSean, thank you so much for the donation, bro. I love you, bro. Thank you, Randolph. So my thing is, if while we're waiting on it, man, hopefully we can get Kelly. I don't really know, man, but we want to make sure we have these heart-to-hearts with our children. I want first deals with my children. I want to be able to have the conversations with them, and I want to be able to handle it, man, if it's something I don't want to hear. You know what I mean? Because sometimes we can let what we don't want to hear distort how we treat our children. We'll baby them. We'll put their mind in a box because we're not ready for them to go somewhere. We're not ready for them to mature past a certain stage. I can think about, man, the people who were responsible for raising me. While they may have meant well, man, they would hold my mind back with so many things they would convince me to believe in, so many things that they would shut my mind down to questions I might have. They weren't comfortable with me not thinking like them. You know what I mean? And it angered them. And we can't be that way with our children, man. You have to encourage minds that think a little differently. That's the only way the world's going to change. You know what I mean? Like, we can't shut people down because they think differently. We have to encourage them to keep speaking your mind. Keep speaking your mind, because if everyone thinks the same, we'll end up in a cycle, right? So have these conversations with your children, man, and see how they're thinking. You don't want to scare them out of sex, because now you're making them feel guilty for it and embarrassed by it. You know what I mean? It's one thing to be raised up in religion to where that'll definitely put walls between you and sex. That wall of guilt between you and sex. That embarrassment wall, right? You feel ashamed. All this comes along with being raised in that religion, but I mean, it's also our culture. So if you remove religion, you still have a misogynistic culture that asserts dominance over females as opposed to males as well. When really what you need to do is have a conversation with both parties. I mean, the same conversation. It shouldn't be, hey, you know, a woman, hey, little girl, hey, value your body. You know, the more times you have sex, the more value you lose. Listen, you can have that same conversation with your male child. Then, be fair. Maybe don't say that. Maybe don't say every time you have sex you lose value. Maybe that's not true. Can you prove that? How do you assess value? Because I don't know in this world. I mean, you just look up net worths of people for all I know, and I mean some of the girls who could come out here and they have more sex than anybody, and they got bread, and some of them get paid to have sex and got money. Some of them are porn stars and got money. Does it make you dumber? Does it make you less competent? How does sex make you lose value? Only in the minds of those who knows how many sexual partners you had. That means you don't lose value. Because if you met a stranger who never knew your sexual partners, they wouldn't hold you accountable to that. You know? So we got this idea where the more times you have sex, the more you lose value. When we should just keep it 100. Like, just be like straight up. If I'm talking to my son, have an honest conversation with your son. Listen, man, it's about that time. I know you go to school. I know y'all talking about it. You know, do you feel comfortable talking about sex? Where you at with it, son? If he ain't brought it to me yet, I might hit him with it. Just like that. You know, if he say, man, yeah, I've been talking about it. We talk about it. Boom, boom, boom. Listen, son, be careful. I'm not telling my son that I'm more strict on my daughter than him or vice versa. But what I am telling my son is this, son. Understand this. Sex is an animalistic act. You're going to feel feelings that's going to distort your mind. And when these moments, if you ever get the opportunity to act on these acts, right? To act on this feeling, your judgment's going to be cloudy. I'm telling you, son, make sure you're protecting yourself. Make sure you're thinking wisely. Just because a person is attractive does not mean that it's wise to sleep with them. Here is why, son. I'm not telling him because he loses value because he's young. Understand this. I'm explaining to my child the real world. He doesn't know the mind of that female that he's dealing with. Do you understand? This one sexual act can cause you a lifetime of pain. Do you understand? Son, the moment that you get this girl pregnant, you lose all control. It is completely up to her on if she's going to have this baby or not. You lose all control. So if you're not prepared for that, you better strap up. Or maybe you should wait, son. You understand? Because the risks that are involved are still there. If she does get pregnant, is she the type of girl that you want to have a baby with? What is her mind like? What is she on? You understand? You don't just want to chase the first thing that you see and just because she's cute, hey man, I'm trying to lose my virginity. I get it. I was there. I've been there. I understand, man, you know how it is. We've been there. But no, we didn't have people, most of us didn't have people to talk to us just straight like this. You know what I mean? What seems fun for a moment, man, can turn into something that lasts for a lifetime. And yes, it can end up being something that's beautiful. But more than likely, it's something that our children are not prepared for. Having a baby, right? This is not even about diseases. This is, if the world were perfect, you still got to have this conversation, because what comes from sex, the very fact that you want sex is because it's to procreate. So you got to have this conversation. Your biological body is not going to push you or your child or anybody to want to have sex with that person and then not work on the rest. You understand? So we know what happened. We know babies don't just come from kissing. So you need to explain this stuff to your children. Quit covering their eyes every time they see somebody kissing. You understand? Let them know what's natural, right? Talk to your children. Have these conversations to where sex ain't a dirty word. Man, it's sex. Everybody has it. Everybody has sex. Everybody. So it's like, we got to stop this, man. And the problem is we look at it like we can't discuss this with our children. So we allow the school teachers to discuss it with them, and they just discussing body parts. Sexual ed is reduced down to body parts and stuff. Man, you need to have actual conversations with your children about what can come from that. Yeah, it feels good. It may feel amazing. But you have to understand what can happen from that. Do you understand? So always be responsible. Understand who you're dealing with, right? Because you don't, again, I know, don't get me wrong. We raise our daughters all the time with this idea that men are out here, and men tell their daughters, women tell their daughters, okay? Men lie. They'll lie to get you up just to get your draws. They'll tell you they love you and don't mean it. We warn them all the time about the men, right? We try to. Well, we need to warn our boys as well. You understand? It doesn't matter what type of avatar that person is in, right? If we are all souls, whatever you want to call it, having a vagina or a penis don't automatically make you a good or a bad person. And we know that bad people exist in male and female avatars. Correct, family? I know women who don't let men see their children just because they're mad at them. I know women who try to get dudes for child support just because they want to, just for the sake of doing it, just to hurt them, just to get more. You trick people into raising kids that's not theirs. I've seen it with my own eyes. And most of the children that you have that go to school, they know somebody who's like that. So you better think wisely. You don't know the mind of that person you're dealing with. You've never saw them angry before. You never saw them angry. So you may feel passionate about each other like everything is great now, son, but you never saw this person angry. They could get angry and they retaliate on you and break your heart. I've saw it now. I'm telling you with my own two eyes now. I've watched my brother cry because he couldn't see his daughter. You understand? Cry. Cry. You know what I mean? This stuff, man, this type of reality, man, is like, and all I could do is just be thankful. You know what I mean? Like, wow, all of my children is with somebody who is just not like that. You know what I mean? But the risk is there, family. And have these conversations with your daughters. You understand? Just because somebody's attractive to you or they spitting game to you, it does not mean that they're going to be there and be responsible for this child if he gets you pregnant. So you make sure you protect yourself, or you make sure you get to know this person, know who you're dealing with. How does he treat other girls? Is he known for this type of behavior? Think wisely. You're talking about sex. Sex is something everyone does, but think about it. The consequences are great when you live in a world where you need money to live. If we was out here doing some hunting and gathering type stuff, that's totally different. But you need money to live out here. So we need to explain to our children, it's not just the children, it's not just the risks that are involved when dealing with another person. You don't know what kind of person they are, how they respond when they're angry, if they are responsible at all. You don't know these people. You're just getting to know them, right? But even outside of that, if the person turns out to be a good person, you're still dealing with time. The time it takes you to raise them now and not be able to focus on yourself and your own endeavors. Now you have to focus on this child. And you never get to really take your mind off of that child once you have that child. So believe me, sex is, we need to prepare them. Because I don't care if a child is 12 or 18 or 25. If you don't mentally prepare them for sex, the same damages are going to occur, family. Do you recognize that? Naturally, the body, our daughters go through puberty way before we want them to as men. And if men could raise the actual consent age up on our daughters, we probably would, to be honest. Because we just think like this. It's ego. We cannot allow our egos to make us mistreat our daughters or treat our daughters differently than we treat our sons. The same standards have to be applied to both. The same, and when I say standards, I mean understandings, right? You need to understand what you're getting yourself into before you do this act, because I'm telling y'all, family, I don't care how you approach it. You can approach it like myself, where I'm saying, I want to be in your life. Just talk to me about what's going on. We can always rap, man. That's not a problem. Just put a beat on. We can always rap. When I say rap, I just mean talk. I mean, just sit down, open your heart, put a beat on, and we're going to rap. Hey, man, because we need it. We can always do that. Right? Now, you can be that way, or you can be like, don't do it, period. Don't let me catch you. And I mean, I get it. But do you really think they're not going to do it? Did you do it? I mean, didn't most of us do it? Right? You're dealing with an animalistic nature, family. We're going to get it if we got it. We're going to get it however the getting is getting. I don't even know what I said, but I bet y'all understood me, especially if you're from the country. You're going to make it happen. Man, I remember, man, I had people would drive, somebody said bars. Look, man, I remember being at the movies, man, and mothers are dropping their daughters off at the movies with me. Now, I wasn't sleeping with them, you know, but I'm saying I was chilling with them at the movies, though. I was touching all over them, feeling all on them, putting my hands everywhere on them little girls. And I'm talking, I mean, I was a little boy too, so don't get it twisted. It was all kids in middle school and stuff, but I'm saying their parents thought they was just dropping them off with their little girlfriends, their little friend girls to go watch the movie. Here, me and my cousin in there, me and one of my friends in there, got both of them girls in there, smelling each other's fingers. They're gonna do it, family, I'm telling you. So it's time, family, that we teach our children, prepare them. Because you know, if you was one of those guys who did that type of game, who had that type of game, and that's T.I. problem, I'm telling you. When you one of those guys who got that type of game, and you know you always had it, you don't want your daughter being out there because you feel like karma about to come back. You try to defend yourself against karma. That's exactly what it is, man. My brother the same way. He was swagged out his whole life. You know what I mean? Stay swagged out. That's why he don't want nobody around his daughter. He's scared of karma, man. Prepare your daughter. Listen, man, I'm going to tell you something. There's going to always be somebody lying to your daughter. Do you understand this, man? While she 18, while she 15, while she 16, while she 25. Just hope it don't be you. That's the thing. You don't lie to your daughter. But men going to always lie to your daughter. Please understand that, man. Please understand that. You cannot go out here and change the whole world to treat your daughter or your child a certain way. What you have to do is equip your child. Protect your child. You understand? We so worried about the age of consent, but man, somebody can take hold of your child's mind long before they get 18 and never touch them just with what they say to your child. Hey, your child totally hooked, totally under a spell. It happens, family. Some of those girls end up being prostitutes and everything. Can't wait till they're 18 just to get turned out, just to be legal. Protect your children's mind. See, we see these movies, man, where they put the chastity belt, you know, on the waist, you know, to cover the vagina. That's the chastity belt, the chastity helmet. We need to teach your children how to understand what's happening. You understand? Teach your children how to understand how to deal with people when they're talking to them. You know? And understand the world is just like that. People are going to lie to get what they want, man. People do that. So get to know people's character, all of that. If you desire sex, okay, it's your body. I don't have any control over that, son or daughter. But what I am telling you is it's best to be wise. I don't want to see you, a moment's decision turning into a lifetime of responsibility. Notice I never said the word mistake. I'm saying a momentary decision turning into a lifetime of responsibility. Yeah, you're going to eventually, now I don't even want to say eventually, if you're going to love that child, no doubt about it if that happens. You understand? But it's that responsibility that can really set you back. Really think wisely. And it's not the child necessarily. It's who you having that child with. You understand? You don't know what their family tree look like. I'm telling you. They could be unstable all the way from the top to the bottom. I'm telling you, get to know people because you're having children with people. And you want to make sure that you're not setting yourself up. I'm just saying, family, like it's just best to be smart and have these conversations with your kids. Tell them to look at people's mannerisms, look at their actions. You feel me? Especially if it's in school. They sitting around each other every day, man. You better watch them. Something going on Facebook. Let me see here. Callie was getting back at somebody. I ain't gonna worry about it if it comes back up. I'll try to catch it. Callie, if somebody needs to be blocked or deleted, let me know. But yeah, so Yeah, man, the main thing is equip your child. Make sure there's an understanding between yourself and your child, a line of communication between yourself and your child. It's not about right or wrong. It's about communication. Understand this. I want to know where my child is at all times. And if my child can be comfortable enough with me to let me know where they are at all times, even if they possibly having sex, I would feel better that way than not knowing where my child is. I just felt like I can't control. I know I can't control that out once they leave this house. So I better just mentally prepare them. Wherever you are, send me a text. If you going somewhere other than where you say you are, shoot me a text, man. I'm not about to be like, no, don't go. I'm not gonna do you like that. But let me know where you are and who you're with at all times. You know, if possible. You know what I mean? Now, granted, that's to a certain age. My daughter, this is how I treated my daughter with 18, just until she was 18. Of course, she still does that. And she's cool with doing it. It's not like me forcing her thing. She understands it's better for safety. Listen, family, when I go certain places, I shoot my brother, my homie D or Callie. I shoot them information and tell them where I'm at, yo. Or where I am. I can't end sentences with at. I tell them where I am. Because I don't want something, and who I'm with. So I don't want something that's going wrong and nobody know where I am or who to find. Just protect yourself. Because people will set you up. People will set you up. Kelly and I were talking about that yesterday. How many men he knew that got set up, literally set up to kill by women. Take a little bit of money, talk a guy to go to a hotel with him, and then somebody come in there and killing people. And the girl literally knew they was gonna kill this dude and took some money to get involved in some crap like that. That's not a good person, yo. And you thought you went home because she had a big butt. You stupid. Yo, she got a fat ass. You're not gonna make it till tomorrow. Warn your sons, yo. Everybody that smiles is not nice. You understand? I don't care how cute they seem. See, men are not raised with this idea in mind on how to treat women, about relationships. In fact, we mostly don't even think about them. We look at it as putting handcuffs on. Where women, they never look at it as putting handcuffs on. Have you ever recognized that? Women don't ever look at getting married just putting handcuffs on, losing their freedom. Isn't that crazy, y'all? You know why? Because they're raised to think differently. This world is so misogynistic that it raises our daughters to think about being married constantly, to think about constantly needing a man. I'm telling you, yo, women think about being married all the time. They play house, they get their Ken and their Barbie, they make them kiss. We don't do that. We fighting daggum missiles in the air, racing cars, and kung fu video games. Now, I'm just saying, when I grew up, we played with actual action figures. I don't know what, if y'all do them now, if y'all kids do them now, but I mean, it's totally different. We don't raise our children, our boys up. We don't buy our boys any girl toys at all. You see what I'm saying? Actually, if your son's sitting over here playing some family life over here instead of army men blowing something up, army men, wow. War, right? Reenacting some war and blowing people up and taking people's lives and calling it fun, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, I thought it was fun too, I'm just saying, but just think about the imagination here. It's people blowing each other up. But if they were playing a family life, a husband and wife, and he's acting like taking his little toy to get groceries and bringing them home and all this kind of stuff, just all the kind of stuff husbands and wives do, you would say he's gay or he's got some sugar in his tank or something. When really that is more constructive to his future than those army men blowing each other up. You understand? Man, me and my son, man, we be talking. I'll be like, man, what kind of girls you like? You can talk to me. Listen, man, if you're having a hard time having your children open up to you, that's a great way. Just ask them what kind of girls they like. They already kind of want to tell somebody. They talk to their friends about it, but just have them open up to you. Tell them what kind of girls they like. Funny girls, what you like. Kind of sit back real quiet in the back of the room, what you like. And let them talk to you. And they'll tell you more about what they like. And the more they start talking to you, it's like, okay, do you got any particular one that you feeling right now? Yeah, I like one of them, but she tripping. What you mean she tripping? Well, And then the more he talk, man, you having a conversation, right? That's how it starts. But you're not just going to go to your child and just be like, you having sex? Is somebody trying to convince you to have sex? Is anybody talking to you about trying to have sex? Man, they're not going to feel comfortable like that. You have to already have that line of communication with them. You understand? Because it's kind of like meddling if you're not really listening. And too many times, like when we're talking to our children, we clock out. When our children talk to us, we pretend to be listening, but we really not. And they can sense that. So you got to understand, like, you got to practice that. Give your children all of the time that you can. Whenever you with them and you listening, try to zone in on them, man, and really give them that time, even if it's just 10, 15, 20 minutes, because I know we work every day, and it's hard to do that. But when you get those moments with your children, just focus in on what they're saying and don't clock out. Don't be somewhere else just saying, yeah, and all this kind of stuff and rushing them. And don't do that, man, because you will force them to back off again. You need that. You want them to be as solid with you as your best friends. I'm not saying treat them like your best friends, but I'm saying the way you can call your friend up and talk to them about anything, do you want your children to talk to somebody else other than you? That's all I'm asking. Then if you don't, because you don't want them talking to some other snotty-nosed kid that don't know what the heck is going on in life, and they're going to give them bad advice, right? Because they little snotty-nosed kids and they don't know shit, right? You rather your children talking to you. You rather your children to talk to you. Right? And this way you can actually get first dibs. And listen, man, here's the thing. If you don't got the best answer in the world, tell them you'll try to get it for them. But, man, we teams in this thing called life. Here's the one thing I want my children to understand, family. When I look back at the people who raised me, who were responsible for raising me, they probably not what you would consider super smart. You know what I mean? So I look at when I would challenge them on certain things, how they would treat me. I try not to be that way because I know that my mind is subjected to a whole lot more programming than theirs, just like the people who raised me. So if I'm talking to them, or if they're talking to me and they're challenging my way of thinking, I'm not going to jump down their throats and make them feel like they're out of line or out of pocket. I actually am curious to see why they think that way. Maybe they can enlighten me. If you have your children understanding, hey, man, I'm not sitting here telling you I know it all, because sometimes we as parents can say some stuff that our children know is, I'm going to be honest, they know it's stupid, but they're not going to challenge you because they know you're going to snap. You understand? Sometimes us parents, we say some stupid stuff and our children be like, yo, really, bro? In their mind, they're thinking, bro, really? That's your response? And you walk off thinking that I told them, but really, you just backed them. You just bullied them. They're not going to let them talk to you because you know if they talk to you, you're going to freaking snap. So they're going to let you have it, but you're not making sense. And so when they notice this type of stuff, the more they're going to begin to devalue your opinion because you don't act rational. You're not fair. So you have to be better than that. If it's just like, why, Mama, can you tell me, can you explain to me why this? Because I said so. Now, your child 14, 15 years old, believe me, in the back of their mind, they thinking, word? That's your answer? You can't explain to me why? Man, come on, man. As parents, you can't explain to your child why. You keep saying this because I said so, but man, I'm telling you, one day you might not be here. And you won't ever be able to tell them why. And now they left here to figure it out. You understand? So sometimes, man, you need to just, if they're asking you why, if they bold enough to ask you that question, man, now it's not about a certain dominance. What tone is that? I understand if they're coming at you in an indirect way. I mean, in a direct, insubordinate way. You know what I mean? But I'm saying if they genuinely looking for answers or y'all having a dialogue, don't shut them down because you feel challenged. It's master and teacher, right? In order for your student to get better, he got to challenge you, right? Just think about this. I got Callie on here, so if me and Callie is sensei or teacher master, I don't know the opposite of sensei right now, you know, whatever. Master and teacher, right? And Callie, and say I'm Callie's master, right? So I'm teaching Callie. He's learning from me, right? How can Callie get better if he doesn't challenge me? I'm telling Callie to pull his punches. How I'm the trainer and I'm telling him to pull his punches. No, give it all you got so I can train you. Yeah, I'm going to throw you on the ground. I'm going to handle you. I'm going to have to. And then one day, it's a little harder now. And the only way Callie actually graduates me is he has to challenge me. You have to defeat the sensei. And once you do that, You don't get rid of everything they ever taught you. It's not saying that everything you ever learned from them is bad because one day you defeated them, right? It means that you keep everything you learn from them, but take with it what you added to it. You see what I'm saying? This makes you better. But you shouldn't tell your children, don't challenge you in any way. Don't talk back to me in any way. Have a conversation, have a dialogue. They're human beings, man. They have minds too. And if you do that, then you're cutting off the conversation. You're pushing them out, and they're not going to feel comfortable talking to you. I'm telling you now, you can feel like, hey, I'm the mom, I'm the daddy. They're going to do what I tell them to do while they're under my roof. You can be that way if you want to, but if you want to be in their lives and know what's going on with them, I'm telling you, man, you might want to listen to my advice. Because these little things like this is what drives wedges in between you and your family. I'm telling you. I know because I was a child. I've never been this way with my children, and we have a great relationship. We talk about everything. But I'm saying I know this because I was done this way as a child. I know what it made me do. I internalized it. I didn't talk to anybody about anything because when you try to talk to them, you can't tell them nothing. And anything that you say, they say you're getting smart back with them or something like that. So it's just like, I can't even talk to you. So you just internalize it. And so what are you going to do now? Because you can't talk to your own people who really, they live this life probably 15, 20 years, 30 years longer than you. So they may not know the intellectual things that you may know, but they know about life. You understand? And that's where that's where the experience comes in. So as a parent, you don't have to feel like I'm inadequate because my children know more than me. They can do better math equations. Who gives a damn? It's a math equation, yo. You have lived longer than them, so that's the one thing you have on your children is experience. Make them value that. Your children ain't expecting you to be able to break down every history lesson and every chemistry lesson or curriculum that they have in school. They already know that. Like, things changed. You could have been an A honor roll student when you were in school, and now they just do it differently. New findings have been found or accepted. And the teachings are a little bit different, or the way they go about it is different. They're using computers now as opposed to writing. I want you to think about something, family. Most of these scholars and philosophical thinkers that we give all this credit to wouldn't even know how to type today. They wouldn't even know how to use a phone, a smartphone, any of that. We would think they were stupid. Do you understand? So don't think because you can't do certain things that you're not valuable. You are. We all are valuable in our own ways. I'm not good with computers. I'm very intellectual, but I'm not good with computers. I probably would have been better off back right before they had computers. And I feel like because I'm an 80s baby, that's probably likely why I'm not good with computers, because when I was in school, we wrote, we used pencils. A lot of y'all don't know what those are. It's these little wooden things, like cylinders. They shave them down from wood, actually. And inside of them is the lead. And when you press down, the lead rubs off on the paper, and it actually writes. Writing is when you actually take your hands and you put the letters on paper as opposed to pressing a key and making them. If you understand what writing is, yeah. A lot of y'all, I know y'all too young for that, but I'm used to that. Okay. In fact, when I'm rapping, I probably need a notebook better because I'm used to like writing in a notebook. My rhymes come to me quicker. But when I'm listening to a beat, then I got to come out of the beat if I'm on my phone. And I got to come out of the beat and go on my notes and then type some shit, delete, and it come out wrong. And man, it's just stupid. I'd rather just write this stuff down and get it the first time. Notebook. Oh, I'm sorry. Y'all, not a notebook like what you open up, what y'all getting online with. No, actually, I mean like it's all paper really, but it's binded by these little silver spiral that goes all the way down it, that holds all the paper in together. The outsides of it's like a harder piece of paper, kind of like a paperback book, a little tougher. But on the inside, it's just pieces of paper. We call them notebook paper because they have really small lines to leave notes on. And that's what I mean when I say notebook. I don't want you to think I'm writing on an Apple pad or something like that. I know you young bucks today, y'all don't know none of this stuff, so I'm old school. Shout out to the 80 babies. Things are different. White roof paper, facts, yo. Yeah, the yellow paper, right? Y'all remember this, right? Folders was really folders, not some shit right there on the corner of your computer. You remember this? I like that back in the day. I promise you, I know computers is cool, but that's where I excelled. And that excel is some computer shit. You feel me? So yeah, my children can't, so I see y'all laughing faces. So my children can't come to me about a whole bunch of Microsoft Word. You feel me? But they can come and talk to me about my life, experience in my life. And I'm telling you, ain't too many that can go toe to toe with me on that. I done been through it. You know, but here's the thing. If I don't know the answer, man, I will go get it. I'll help you find it. I'll call my brother. You see what I'm saying? I might call my sister if it's something that he can't handle. You know what I mean? But we'll figure out the answer for you, you know, and the best possible answer for you. But I don't want you running to your little snotty-nosed best friend that's in the same class as you. What y'all know? What y'all two heads know together? Less, even less. I'm not trusting your friends with advising my son. I'm not trusting my son's friends with advising him. So I'm going to talk to my son. I'm going to be in my son's life. I'm going to be in my daughter's life. You understand? And I'm not going to be in my daughter's life by saying, don't do it, and it be in my son's life by saying, just make sure you strap up. Like, come on, man. It creates imbalance. And I'm telling you guys, we recognize it all the time. We see it all the time. Women feel ashamed for sex. Men don't. Women feel guilty for having sex. Men don't. Man, I done heard dudes be like, man, I smashed 3 chicks in the same day, bro, and be happy. I have never heard a female do that. And I never will. She'll never be like, like Cardi B and Nicki Minaj don't even say shit like that. Like I'm talking about. Like now, when Lil Kim then start dropping songs saying, like, they let 3 dudes smash at the same time, all this kind of stuff, and be bragging, like really bragging, then yeah, then okay, then you really changing the game. You understand? Because we live in a world where men can do that. Men can walk away from that and say, this is what I did. That was a heck of a week, bro. I smashed more women than days in the week. I've heard dudes say this. I swear to you, I have. And many of y'all have too. So when you live in a world that's like that, it's unbalanced. Maybe we just need to understand what we're getting ourselves into, and not so much as bring all this guilt and crap with us. And you know, teach our children, give our children the guilt that's associated with sex, but give them the knowledge that's associated with it so they can carry themselves better. Be wiser when making these decisions. Does that make sense, family? Facebook got smaller, but YouTube grew. Kalani says I need another higher learning lesson. Hey, they gonna come, I'm telling you. Cause I'm about to get back going, man. I'm gonna do a weekly Patreon video. Just gonna be Q&As. Ask me whatever you want. We're gonna talk. A lot of you guys understand now I'm doing life coaching, so I am a celebrity life coach now, of course. And what I want to do is I want to life coach all of you guys at the cost of what you were already given to the Patreon, and not charge you what I would normally charge to life coach someone. So what I want to do is I want to go to Patreon, unless you want one-on-one life coaching, that is. I'll go to Patreon and I'm going to do live Q&As, and you guys can just ask me whatever you want, and I'll give you the best possible answer that I can, right? And again, if I don't have it, I'll go get it, you know, and that's what I'll do for Patreon. I'm still going to do the same things that I'm doing for Facebook and YouTube now. But I'm going to add that to my Patreon. So if you haven't joined Patreon, please consider doing that. If you're interested in discussing many other topics outside of what I've already been discussing, believe me, there's a world of knowledge inside of this brain. So Callie has convinced me to let the cat out of the bag. So let's do it. Thank you, LaDawn. Yeah, I did go in on that track, huh? See, D, see how D said I actually have smashed a couple, 2 girls in one day, and see how he just freely said it. He didn't feel any guilt. A woman's not gonna say that. Like, yeah, I let 2 dudes smash me in a day. Yeah, I did that 4 times. Yeah. What? She ain't gonna give me that, yo. Like, she ain't gonna do that. I'm not saying that we should flip it so much so that it's like that, but I'm saying that if someone desires to do that, then that's up to them, and it shouldn't come with all those negative stigmas, family. Just be responsible for yourself. Be responsible for your desires. You understand? Be responsible for this stuff, family, because there's consequences in everything. What's up, DeWanda? Actually, I'm just tired, man. I didn't smoke yet. I ain't gonna say a lot of y'all. I smoke. I may have partaketh. What's past tense for partake? Partooketh. Somebody help me out here. I have partooketh in the ganja. It was about like an hour and a half, 2 hours ago though. So I thought I was straight. Normally it don't sit on me like that, but yeah, I do still feel really good though. But I think I really think that's the vibes though. Like it feel like love. I don't know. It don't feel like the regular high. It feel like love, man. I don't know. Tell me, do y'all feel love? I don't know how y'all feel. Is y'all brains treating y'all with dopamine like mine is? Partook. I like partooketh. Sounds biblical. One second, family. Just get this YouTube straight here. Oh, family, while we're here, listen. If you're not aware of my television series that I'm shooting, it's called Dream. We're gonna be filming in Atlanta, sometimes Charlotte. If you guys are in those locations, please email me at thedream2019@gmail.com. I'm sorry, the Dreamcast. All right, like Sega Dreamcast, but it's Dreamcast, like cast members. So the Dreamcast 2019@gmail.com. Okay. I'm just reading some. Hang on, family. Thank you guys. You guys inspire me too, honestly. Y'all push me to be a better person. I want to be better for me, but I also want to be better for y'all. I don't want to be giving y'all nothing, so I always challenge myself to raise myself higher, raise my consciousness higher, so I can, get on here with a purpose, But I just wanted to talk about some of the issues that we have, that we saw, that arose from this. I just wanted to discuss it because we do this unfairly. How do you guys feel? I want to hear your comments, men and women. Just after listening to some of the points that I've made tonight, is it still daytime? What time is it? Time went back and it's got me all ruined. But I would just like to know some of your thoughts. If you think that we're doing things right, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, or do you feel like we should, work to change it? And just the way I said, from the outside looking in, if we looked at the Philippines right now, and I told you the legal age for consent is 12, we would be disgusted, family. But that's because we're looking from the outside of their culture. The people who are raised in that culture don't see it. So maybe we don't see misogyny the same way. The same way they don't see those 12-year-old little girls as off limits, and it's absolutely disgusting. It's the same way we don't see that misogyny is wrong. You understand? So in order for them to be better, they have to see themselves outside of their culture and say, well, maybe it doesn't matter what the consensual law is. Maybe we just need to stop this. Maybe we need to make sure that our female counterparts are mature enough for this stuff. You understand? Because if they're the less mature they are, the more likely they are to be overtaken mentally in some relationship. I want you to understand this now. from T.I. doing that, if he's making it known to his daughter that he's doing that, I'm checking him. I'm gonna make sure you're a virgin. While you in my house, you're gonna live by my rules. When you do that, I'm telling you now, your child is likely to settle for somebody who acts that same way. You know what I mean? You my girl, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, and they're kind of used to that. So it's kind of easy to adapt to that, to accept that. So you don't want your child to be weakened in that way, where you're so controlling that they get used to that. You know what I mean? You don't want to weaken the mind of your children. You want them to always be able to stand for themselves and how they feel. A lot of times our children can be bold, but when someone begins to sound like their parents, they listen. And if their parent is somebody who is controlling, they'll respond more to a controlling person because that's what they're used to. You understand? And they'll feel like a person who's not controlling is a pushover, you know? And we don't want to do that. We want you to understand you should have your freedom, right? You definitely should have your freedom, but everything should be with the discussion. And this way, once they come out of your house, any relationship that they decide to go into, maybe they'll bring those lines of communications to their relationships, understanding that the only way we can continue on is if we have these type of relationships and not hiding stuff from each other because we're afraid to reveal how we feel about ourselves to each other, and them possibly treating us like our parents would have treated us. Because we do that. You know, we'll go and get into relationships and we'll begin to desire certain things or want to do certain sexual acts with our partners or with other partners. I don't know, whatever. But you want to talk to your spouse about things that's changing with your body, things you desire, and you don't feel comfortable because you don't want to be shamed. Well, this idea probably comes from how you got treated as a child, or how this world treats you, or how it accepts different, the different things in this world, or how you've been made to feel about your body. So I'm saying we need to come out of all of that and understand sex is a natural act. Family, people have it. And, we shouldn't let people, our men in power or whatever, dictate or decide when we have sex or what we allow sexually to our children, family. Listen, man, there are places in which they have tried to outlaw oral sex. There are places in which they try to outlaw hand jobs, like masturbation, like straight up, family. You have to understand that, like what? That you talk about an invasion of somebody's privacy, right? How are you going to tell me tell somebody they can't put their mouth on a part of another person's body who letting them? How are you going to tell somebody they can't touch themselves? You understand? But we've tried it. I mean, human beings are crazy, family. So we've got to start thinking for ourselves and understand that we prepare our children, because laws are subject to change. And you know you're not really raising your children by the laws, right? I mean, I know T.I. is saying that from 16 to 18 because it's the consensual age, but I guarantee you he don't really raise his child by the law. You know what I mean? If they lowered the sexual age, he ain't going to say, well, okay, it's cool. He is not. No father is going to be comfortable with their child having sex, but that's something you're going to have to be getting over. You're going to have to get over that and put the responsibility. It's like driving. You don't want to let your child drive out on the road by themselves either. That's scary. That's more scary than having sex for me. I want my daughter to come back in one piece. So to me, it's like, I'd rather her be prepared. The same way you prepare your child to know how to drive before you put him out on the damn highway is the same way you should prepare your child for sex before you put him out there for sex. You understand? It could be catastrophic if they're ill prepared. My daughter drive out of my driveway, I'd be scared, because she ain't been driving like that long. So that's scary to me. I want my daughter to come back. I'd rather somebody be in the car with her or something. I don't know. I don't even want to go up the street. You know what I mean? But I know I can't be that way. I know I got to let her go. I got to let her fly. And it doesn't matter how it makes me feel. I understand that that's what I have to do. You know what I mean? You want her to come back safe and sound, so you prepare her and make sure she understands how to control that wheel, how important it is that she don't text and do all that stuff. The same way you're going to tell your children about sex. You want to make sure they're prepared, right? Because you want to make sure that they're safe. Does that make sense, family? Right, Melinda, and that's what I'm saying. I would like to say that, but I would like for them to talk to me about everything, and there may be some things that they don't, but I'm telling you, You know, I would like to say that they do, but I know I do my part to open those lines of communication to where they can talk to me. You know what I mean? So you have to do that. I mean, if they can't talk to you, who do you want them talking to? I guarantee you it's nobody else other than you. Nobody else. And that's pending you give good advice too. So don't be a jughead talking about come to me, child, let me talk to you, because we know grown-ups don't always get the best advice. So you run it by me first before you tell it to you. Run it. I want everybody to run it all by me first. Let me raise your kids. No, I'm just playing. I'm just kidding, y'all. I'm gonna tell you something that's gonna blow your mind. Check this out. If the age of consent is 12 years old, right, in certain countries, this means that people who we say are crazy over here, disgusting over here, would be perfectly legal over there. Doesn't that tell you that's a problem? A person over there living their life can be a good, upstanding citizen with a 12-year-old wife, can come to America and be a pedophile for the same acts they did on the same planet somewhere else. Think about that, family. Think about that. That is crazy. That's mind-blowing to me. That's mind-blowing to me. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see the statistics of pedophiles who slept with girls that was at least 12 years and up, and see how many men and women who are in prison, right, for touching these children that was 12 years to 12 to 16 or whatever, right, and see the actual amount of the percentage of pedophiles that fall in that line, just so we can look at this and I can show you that if they were in the Philippines, if they were in Korea, they would be absolutely fine. Ain't that crazy, yo? These people would still be out on the streets doing what they do. And it would be fine, perfectly legal, yo. That's not crazy to y'all? Kevin, what are you saying? Are you saying that pedophiles here who mess with 12-year-olds shouldn't be called pedophiles because it's okay somewhere else? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when we allow our lives and our children's lives to be subjected to the laws of man, look at the chaos that can come from that. If you live in a different place, because someone told you that the age of consent was 12, does that mean you have to let your daughter go at 12? Or are you going to hold on for 6 more years? Because you got to think, around about that year 13, you're going to start looking a little overprotective because you're still trying to keep your child away from that stuff. She ain't but 12. Around 14, 15, 16, 17, man, it's 6 years later. Man, when you look at that fact, that makes me glad to be in America. Glad to be an American. What a consent age is 18. I don't want to be in the Philippines. Hey, yo. That's nuts, yo. That's nuts. I couldn't do it. I feel like I couldn't do it. From the outside looking in, I don't see me stand up. Hey, yo, a lot of our laws are worse than some countries, but when you compare us to that, yeah, we could teach them a thing or two. We enlightened on that now, you know. We still outlaw stuff like hemp, you know what I mean? But I'm glad we got that age a little higher. Listen, could you imagine having to prepare your child for sex and possibly having children being married at 12. Could you imagine a world like that? Now, don't get me wrong. The further you go back, it was like that. But we live in a world now where we're kind of spoiled. Man, our children be 16, 17, and we ain't gave our children a conversation yet about no birds, no bees, no otters, no nothing. They don't know nothing. All they getting is what they get from watching TV or porn. I'm telling you, you don't have no conversations with your kid because you nervous. Your parents made you nervous to talk about sex, so it's hard for you. You grown. Your kids trying to talk to you about sex. You the one getting weird. You the grown up. Come on, man. We gotta stop acting like our ears are like sugar. Like we ain't never heard nothing before. Like we never saw nothing before. We done saw the worst, family. We older than them. We got a leg on them, right? We got more experience. We've seen it all, most of it rather. Life just repeats itself. So the same stuff they think they getting away with, we was getting away with back then. The same stuff they doing. They even trying to say our same language. They think they made the crap up. They think they made up capping. They been saying capping. I thought they came home and taught me something. I don't know how capping got past me. I'm in the car with Callie. Callie like, man, they been saying capping for years. Man, this dude put some songs on. Man, they were saying capping since way back. I thought that was new. These kids, man, they ain't making up nothing. I thought my parents was hating on me by telling me, man, you ain't coming up with nothing new. And I'm like, what you mean, yo? I see what they're talking about. I didn't know shit. And I thought I did when it comes to that. But it was things I knew more than them, man, too, though. You know, so make sure you use your experience to your advantage, family. You've been there, you saw it, and just make sure your child understands you've been there and you saw it. Allow them to trust you, right? Allow them to trust that you're responsible for your attitude. Because I mean, if they're coming to you and you snapping on them, and then you going back and apologizing, eventually it's just gonna get old. They're not gonna come to you because they don't want to hear the snapping or the apology. Be responsible for your actions. Learn how to control your temper. They're gonna ask you some stuff that you're not comfortable with. They're gonna be ready for some stuff that you're not ready for, not ready for them to be ready for. Have a logical conversation. Remove emotion. Have a logical conversation so they can feel like they can talk to you. I'm hoping this is making sense to y'all. So if we don't want to base how we feel about our daughters having sex, or at what age we allow our daughters to have sex to, and if we don't want to base that on the consent of our government or the laws of our government, because that can change, just like I said, just by state to state. In America, it can be 16, 15, 14, 16, 18, I mean, not 15, but 14, 16, or 18, depending on where you go. So instead of like wondering if your daughter's vagina is like marijuana, legal or not, just because you cross state lines, how about just make your daughter responsible? Talk to them about sex. Make sure they understand that sex is not a touchy topic with you. It's just sex, man. People have it, yo. People have sex every day, B. Every day, B. Somebody comment that. Every day, B. Because it's dope, because it's saying every day, B. You feel me? Every day, B, yo. I love that. People have sex every day, B. Every day. We need to stop acting like sex is taboo and weird. Talk about it with your children. You know, if they at the age to where they trying to understand and they showing you that, have this conversation with them. Don't be lying to you. Stop lying to y'all kids. Thank y'all. Every day, B. Yeah, family. Don't lie to your kids. Don't tell them a stork brought a baby in a hammock, you know, in a handkerchief to a bandana, you know. Tell them the truth, man. When the male and female come together, you know, our biological bodies, break it down. And ew, when they start saying ew, you know, I mean, that's probably the best time to teach them so they can understand it intellectually, because they're not going to be sexually into it. Their mind will listen. Ew, daddy, ew. I don't want to hear about no breasts. Or son, one day you ain't gonna say that. If anything like your daddy. No, I'm just playing. I'm just kidding, y'all. One day you're not gonna be saying ew. And so I need to prepare you for when, ew get to, you know what I mean? And you need to have an understanding on this, son. Because if I don't prepare you, when that ew go to, we're gonna end up with a, oh! We don't want that. Randy said, you ain't kidding. Yeah, it's facts. Y'all know it. y'all laughing, but y'all know it. Linda said she always got caught by her kids. Well, I'm not saying to no Melinda. She said she always got caught. Her man always got caught. That her and her children's father always got caught. I'm not saying that they need to know how y'all have sex. I'm saying the mental capacity behind it, what to expect from it. Right? They can do you dirty and not call you again. Understand that she can do you dirty and not call you again. She can walk around and tell people your penis small. What you gonna do with that energy? How you gonna feel? She may not like it. You understand? You need to talk to your children. Explain to them. It gets better. You have to learn. It's not something that, it's like, well, she bad. I slept with her one time. That sex doesn't work like that in a lot of cases. You have to learn a person's body. Learn what they like. It is two people. You're not just you, so you can't just go off of your feelings because your nerves only feed to your brain. This other individual you're dealing with, they have nerves that feed to their brain. So you got to find out what they like, what makes them happy, what makes them smile, right? It's not just about, we watched The Wood. We watched all these different shows where dudes just kind of go in there and just put it in. You know what I mean? Get up under the cover, put the little condom on, and then just slide it in. They'd be like, okay, this is it. But I'm saying sex ain't that. Y'all know that. That might be the first time, don't get me wrong. But I mean, to your children, you need to be breaking this stuff down. You know what I mean? Have the conversation, family. Don't make it weird. It's not weird. It's life. People have sex, man. And they do. So everybody do. If you have a healthy child with a healthy mind, they're gonna have sex one day, family, and you want them to, right? You want children, you want grandchildren, likely, right? All right. So I mean, that's the point. That's what life is always trying to do, is evolve and procreate, and we're gonna have to adjust to it and get over our feelings, man. I know you love your daughters, man. I know you do, but that love that you have for them, take that love and mentally prepare them for these people, for these dudes out here in the street. Let them know what the game sound like. You know what I mean? What it's like. But don't get it twisted. So there's some cat come around that look like she want him to look, make her feel like he wanted her to feel. She gonna fall for all that crap you told her not to. And it happens, yo. And you're gonna have her back the whole time through it all. Right? You're gonna love her the whole time through it all. And she's gonna know that no matter what, when she makes a mistake, you still there. Right? Because you're her life partner. You're not somebody who's gonna be controlling and try to tell her how to live her life. You're gonna be somebody who helps her in her life. Be a partner, right? Same way with your sons. Be that for them. Be somebody they can rap to, somebody they can talk to when they can't talk to nobody else. Things is hard to understand. They dealing with a chick that maybe maybe your child have a girlfriend who leave him and mess with his best friend. I done seen that. So I mean, you got to have these type of conversations with your children. It hurts. So when they dealing with other people with other mindsets, they're not thinking. They might not be thinking the same thing as you. So you got to talk to them and know what's in their mind. People's mind is not open for you to be able to read their minds. And most of them don't feel comfortable talking. So you got to find a way in and have a conversation with people so you can see where they are. Right? Tell them how you feel, because that's the only way they can know what's in your head. It's too many times we'll be upset with somebody because they don't get something, but you never told them. Have a conversation. Don't be so fearful of each other. You know, that's the thing about it. We be scared to talk. But guys, I don't want to keep y'all, man. I've been on here for about an hour or over an hour now, so I wanted to give y'all some time. Listen, guys, I'm going to be probably going live on Mondays on Patreon, so make sure y'all get on that. Go ahead and join Patreon if you haven't already, but it's going to be just Q&A, ask me whatever, and I'm going to sit there and give you guys some time, and we're going to answer as many questions as we can, offer as much advice as I can if I can. Maybe you guys can advise me, all right? In the meantime, keep your eyes out for my show, The Dream Coming. Again, the Dreamcast 2019 at gmail.com is when you want to send your emails to. If you're interested in being a cast member or helping out in any way with the show, investing, anything like that, I will be putting clothing on my actors. If you have a clothing company or any products that you'd like to sell or position in my film, I'll put them in the background or something, do some dope stuff or whatever. We can discuss some promos, all of that good stuff. So I don't have a budget right now, so my goal is to get as much funding as I can. So any of you guys looking to work with me like that in that way, let me know. All right, I'm trying to get this thing everywhere so your products can actually be on this show and for years to come. All right, so that's it, family. I ain't gonna keep y'all. But listen, moral of the story, family, talk to your children, right? Have that conversation. Build relationships with your children, a direct line of communication so they can talk to you comfortably without feeling ashamed. And for goodness sakes, stop making your children, your daughters especially, feel ashamed, you family, about their bodies or sex. Since our daughters were little, they're told that if their fingertips past their shorts, it's too short. And not just too short as in it's just too short. But no, past dress code, no, it's you're a hoe. You dressing slutty, right? All this type of stuff we've asserted over females their whole lives, so you can see how they think. They have a totally different matrix than we have. You know, men don't understand this. We don't walk to our cars with the fear of being raped or anything like that. We don't walk around with this idea that someone can assert themselves physically over us in this way. So not only do women have this, they live in a matrix to where they can't even use their own body the way they want without being criticized and ridiculed for it. So you have to understand why they think the way they think and kind of why it's so imbalanced and why, because of that. And now you have to understand, how do we change it? Or consider, how do we change it? And the way you change it is by changing. Somebody quote that. The way you change it is by changing. You cannot be better unless you become better. The world won't be better unless you do it. You can't change it unless you're changing, right? Because if you raise your children to think like you think, they're going to raise their children likely to think how they think, and it creates a cycle. So you have to be the person that changes. You have to. The way you change it is by changing. Wow, that was powerful. Be the change you want to see, family. All right, be the evolution. And no candle loses its flame from lighting the other. And if you were to ever find yourself in the middle of chaos, it is in that chaos that you have found yourself. Hey, I love you all so much. I wanted to thank you all who had my back, who has helped me this whole time while I was healing back from my surgery and stuff. And I'm still healing back. I want to thank y'all so much, man. There was so many times I went without and didn't have it, but if y'all didn't help, I would have been way, way worse. You know what I mean? So while it didn't meet all of my needs, I do want to say thank y'all so much, because I know a lot of y'all didn't have it and y'all gave what y'all could. I'm thankful, family. Like I said, I'm thankful to every piece of food that gave me nourishment to help my body recover. And I thank y'all for y'all positive vibes the whole time and having my back. I thank y'all for having my back when people say negative things to me. You know what I mean? And tell me I'm going to hell. Like when I walked away from religion and all these people were like turning their backs against me. I thank you guys for having my back even then. I had best friends who didn't have my back even then, who saw all those comments and never said a word. So I don't think I've expressed my gratitude to y'all lately. I mean, at all about that. And I thought about it, man, and it just hit me, man. I truly am grateful from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Thank you guys for just been along this ride with me for the last 2 or 3 years, last 3 years now, almost 4 years now. Thank y'all. Some of y'all been here for a long time, so y'all could have moved on to the next best thing, the next hype or whatever, man, but y'all stayed here and supported me. This person on Facebook. A lot of y'all haven't even met me personally. A lot of y'all have, but hopefully I will get to meet a lot more of y'all. I'm truly thankful to you guys, and I love y'all, okay? If you guys are interested in me being a personal life coach to you, just email me at kevindwesley2682@gmail.com. Other than that, I will be doing life coaching on Patreon. All right, family? Peace to y'all. All right, that was YouTube. That was Facebook. Now I got to get off YouTube. All right, family. I love y'all. I stay longer, but I'm super duper tired. Love y'all.